We have been talking a bit this month about celebrating Valentine's Day with your besties. We even have shown you some fun ways to throw that Galentine's party. All good fun, lots of pink, lots of fun. But today we are getting a little more sentimental, sharing thoughts and ideas that go beyond the surface to help you love your friends more deeply. I can't think of anyone better to kick off this show and this conversation than Studio 5 contributor Kelly Jensen, who is joining me with some advice. Always great to see you. She's a walking Valentine, she is. And you're a girl's girl, meaning you value those girlfriend relationships and you make time for them.
I really do value those relationships. I tell my girls, your girlfriends can be the wind in your sail your whole life. And we're the, if we're the sum of our 5 people that we're around the most, then we better pick good girlfriends.
We better pick good ones. Yeah. Was that always part of you to prioritize friends and girlfriends specifically?
I think being raised by my parents, they weren't super social, but the friends that they did have, they put a lot of intention and time into. And they also, my dad would always say, teach people how to treat you. If you want to be treated this way, you must be that type of person. So I feel like I got it from my parents.
I love that. It does take intentionality, especially in our busy, fast-paced life. And that's a word we'll probably say a couple times in the next few minutes is you've got to be intentional about it.
Absolutely. You've got to put the effort in. And you've got to, make those actions become a part of your life, or it just seems to fade away. You just get too busy.
I'm so excited to hear the thoughts of your heart on this topic, and I know you did dig deep for these ideas. First, these are things you can do to be a better girlfriend, to show up for your girlfriends. First on your list is to plug in to connect. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is that we don't have a lot of time as we're growing up in busy families and work and all these things. We have to take that action to plug in. So I was talking to my little sister about this actually, and she gave me a perfect example. She said that, her friends, they write to her and say, how are you doing? And she'll just say, I'm doing fine, how are you doing? And instead, this one time she decided to really say how she was doing. She says, well, I'm on my way to help my mom with the cabinets in her kitchen, and I tried this new face wash that I'm loving. I'm really excited for this work trip I'm going on. And she went on to kind of just not go super deep, but just say what she had been doing. She got a message back from her friend that said, that was the best text I've ever received in my life. I needed that catch up, and it has promoted this connectivity between them where it's deeper and they know what's going on in each other's life. And I thought, what a beautiful thing to actually step over that halfway point sometimes. And when somebody asks you, or when you have the opportunity to connect, actually do it. Don't just say I'm fine. Just say, this is what I'm doing, and this is what's happening in my life that's meaningful to me.
I love how you said step over the halfway point.
Yes.
Like that requires an extension of self, which can be scary and it can take time and it's all the things, but worth it to forge that connection.
A lot of times I feel like we're sitting back waiting for those girlfriend connections, those deeper connections. Don't you feel like that? I feel like I'm sitting like, oh, I wish that I was closer to so-and-so, but what about just that little act of like, trying to connect when we have the opportunity.
The irony is everyone is feeling that. Everyone's sitting back and thinking, I would like better girlfriends. Someone has to step over the halfway line.
Step over that halfway
I'm going to remember that. Put your thoughts in your calendar.
Yes, and what I mean by this is when you think of a friend or when you have the opportunity, you say, I have this doctor's appointment with my daughter coming up next week. I'm going to plug that into my phone so that I can say, Brooke, how did it go on your doctor's appointment with your daughter? Or, my mom's coming up with this, or I have this presentation at work, or I'm running this race in September. What day in September? I plug that into my phone. It gives me the opportunity to be the friend that I want to be, that I actually am. But when life gets so busy, I can't recall those things off the top of I can barely take care of my kids, But if I have it in my calendar, it gives me an opportunity to check in with them and remember the important things in their life.
You've taken it a step further, but I did a couple years ago start putting like anniversaries, wedding anniversaries, death anniversaries, and that has forged some really meaningful connections among friend and family. But I like the idea of calendaring the dailies, like the race or the doctor's appointment or the things that you're right. You do want to show up for that, and that is who you are, but you've got to remind yourself sometimes along the way.
When someone sends something like that, like, hey, I was just checking in on you. I know you took your mom to, the doctors. You're like, oh, thank you.
So
it really does. Like, thank you for thinking of me. And we want to be that. We are that. But we have to give ourselves a chance. So put it in your calendar.
Litter our calendar with all the things. Don't hold her to it.
So this one is important to me because I feel like The type of friend that I want is a really safe space who lets me change my mind. Everybody's going to have a bad day. Everybody's going to behave in a way that is not the best of themselves. And you don't want the friend that's like, hey, you said you were mad at him, or you said that you didn't like cargo pants and now you're wearing them, or you said that you belong to this political party. What are you doing? It feels like good girlfriends need to create a space where you can change your mind, where you can show up as you are, where you can change, where they treat you with your potential. They let you determine who you are and who you want to be, instead of reminding you maybe who you were, or maybe the parts of you that you don't want to remember. Just create this space and don't hold her to it.
I'm thinking of a particular girlfriend who is very generous in this space to me, and I remember it was a couple months ago I had said yes to something, and I picked up my phone to say no, to decline, and it hit my brain that I had pulled out of the last 3 things that I had committed to. She was gracious, she was loving, she was supportive, when she had every reason in the world to be so bugged and so annoyed that once again, Brooke is flaking out. That generosity goes so far. And again, it goes back to, we do want to show up, we do want to commit, we do want to do those things, but in the moments where we can't, or in the moments when we're in a period of change or a period of transition, we want to be there for those girls.
And it makes you feel loved.
Totally.
It makes you, because we are busy right now, and we do have big lives, and we can't always show up. And when we don't, it's okay. Does it really matter that much that you pulled out of the last 3 things when she knows you love her? You want, if we're talking about loving your girlfriends a little better, then give them the opportunity to know that you love them exactly as they are, with your successes and your failures.
Love the best, love the worst. Yeah. Finally, be for her.
Yes.
This almost, I don't even know what you're gonna say, and this almost like brings up a little choke in my throat.
Yes, be for her best vacation, be for her successes. Sit on the front row when she's giving her talk in church and be the first one she sees. Be for her best hair day, be for her children. Be about her. We need girlfriends that are not competitive, that don't set themselves next to you, and when you have a success, it makes them feel like a failure. Her successes have never been our failures. They never will be. So let's be the loudest cheerleader at the finish line. Let's be the ones loving their kids just as much as we possibly can. Let's be the ones, you know, sparring with them for their presentation so they're completely ready. Let's be the ones doing their dishes when they're sick. Let's be for her and take us out of it. And sometimes that's hard, like we're talking about in seasons of life. But a real great girlfriend, in my opinion, is the type that is on the front row of your life with the loudest clap and the biggest cheer. Success or failure, it has nothing to do with them. It's about you.
I love this, and I love you, Kelly. Thank you for giving us a piece of your heart, how to love your friends more deeply as we continue this conversation in this series all week on Studio 5. That was a boost, sister. Thank you so much.